Yo Rana, and welcome to FM Tahiti. We're back for our next game. So in the last episode, you'll have seen us qualify for the next stage of the OCL, so we're top of the group there, with 9 points out of 9. Got a few other fixtures coming up, so we've got the Mutiny Trophy coming up, which should be the end of this episode. And we've also got a league game against AS Chance. We're in third place, but have a game in hand on us and 2 on Tetaroa. So it's fairly important that we win that one if we keep marching on to retain the Premiership title. Won the Super Cup at the start of the season, and we've got another final, which is the Inter-Island Cup in March. So 2 games today, AS Chance, and then we'll take on Puka Puka in the final. Again, it's been a few days since I played last, but I want to get some games played before I sort of go on a break away for work for half a week, something like that. Enough time that it might actually have an impact on trying to get these videos up. So I'm getting them recorded ahead of time so they can go up. I'm not making any changes to the team. No, I'm not going to make any changes to the team. They've had a chance to recover a bit. There's a few players who are slightly unfit because of all the OCL games we've had to squeeze in. AS Chance are they're one of our sort of bogey teams. Enjoy them a lot. It's easier, blah blah. Yeah, they're one of our kind of bogey teams in that I think last season got a couple of draws against them, or a loss and draw, and that was a good season. So they were all the way down in the Silver Development League, so like an under-23 side, which is really good facilities. Go on, Pons, get it in. There we go. Yannin wasn't going to make a mistake. Andre fluffed it a little bit. Oh yeah, and Yannin used to play for them. That's where we poached Yannin from. 32 goals this season. He's doing alright, isn't he? So AS Chance were under 23 Silver League, got promoted to Gold, got promoted to Championship, and then got promoted to the Premiership, and haven't really looked back. They can't qualify for Europe. I say Europe, well, none of us can qualify for Europe. They can't qualify for... Go on, Yannin, put this away. It looks like a soft penalty. There we go. Yeah, they can't qualify for the OCL, so they can't qualify continentally, because they're not considered by the game to be a full senior side. They can offer professional contracts, but they can't play players above either 21 or 23. I can never remember which, and I always forget to check. Pons almost got one there. Nice little run. So 2-0 against them is pretty good. Oh, McIntyre trying to take a shot. Everyone's trying to go for something now. But because they got such a good kind of academy, such good facilities, and they play in like a 20,000 seater stadium, which I think eventually they'll probably have to move from because they're not going to make enough money there. They're not filling it with 20,000. I think they're getting about 1,000 in there. I feel that was a reasonable tackle by Marquesas. Yeah, they're quite a strong side, and I think they'll be a sort of strong side for a long time to come, just because they can produce good players, and because they've got the professional contracts, they can keep hold of them. And now they're in the Premiership, and what a finish. Jordan always scores against us there. Way on his own. Look at that. So quarters on the break, really. See him pumping his legs in the distance there. Yeah. Good if we sign Jordan, but I don't think he'll come to us. Only 18, 12 caps, 3 goals. Because they've got players like Jordan on, because they can keep hold of him, so he's not being lost. He'll probably only move on when he reaches that kind of cut-off point. That age kind of cut-off point. Just check what highlights we've got this on. Okay. Just checking I hadn't switched it, because what I tend to do is go to extended and things like that if I'm trying out a new tactic. For recording the videos, I tend to go back down to key, unless it's a really important match. Jared almost got one. Yeah, unless it's a really important match, or if it's one of those kind of tense matches where we need to see changes, I guess that counts as importance. And there's McCormack from the free kick. And I keep saying this, and I keep doing it. Did rag on the head of youth development for saying it was a golden generation. McCormack's actually been a really good player for us. Was definitely the pick of the bunch. His attributes still look fantastic, but he just plays really well. He's strong, good passer, moves well. So I'm wondering if 3-1 we might be dealing with the curse of AS chance. This win should mean even with the game in hand they can't go ahead of us. There we go. It's got to be that done. I can show you all the goals. We're scoring quite a few of them now. May reserve the highlights just for absolute stunners. I thought he was going to take a shot then. Another penalty. Gannon for his hat-trick. Oh no! Can I see that coming? Penalty on your hat-trick. It's to nothing. Oh, dallied on the ball. Oh, classy finish. 20 goals this season. We'll watch that one again. And Andre messes up. It steals it off his toes and just like cuts it back, and this is keeper's too slow. Andre try and recoup. There we go. He's made up for his mistake. He does save those. Yep, and Andre was also stolen from AS Chance. It's more keeping rather than absolutely amazing free kick. So now the database is about 6 seasons old, getting on for it. There's actually a lot of good kind of strikers and key players in the league. So you know how in the real world you've got certain players that kind of define the league, the big names. It's just that kind of, you know, Aguero, Kane. I'm struggling to think of various other players. You know, Salah, things like that. Big names that kind of define that sort of era. I don't think that even though they scored this, I don't think they can be back. I don't want to see that. Or it's like sort of the era that I was watching. It's that kind of Shearer, Scholes, Beckham, Giggs. We'll put Sutton in there as well. That's a good one from Potts. 6-3's alright. But you've got those players, and some of them might move clubs, and the years might go by, but they're kind of stalwarts, and I'm starting to get to that point now. So you've got people like Jordan, Jared Nyanin, Lamb, McIntyre, Smith. They're all kind of, they've been around now, even though some of them are still quite young. You've got this with other teams as well, like Laurent, Taha. 30th for Gerrard. He's not too far off Yanin. Make some subs. And Luca Bar. 8. Bovale. Patrick? No. Yes, there's a lot more character in the kind of database now, which means when I do eventually move on from the humpbacks, so I'll be starting fresh with a new team. I'm not starting fresh in the kind of database, but I'll be carrying on. So there'll be names we'll recognise, there'll be stories we can still kind of follow. There'll be all these players on this team we'll be able to keep an eye on, because I doubt many of them will want to come to whichever new club we move on to. Come on. Lost possession. Oh, what a finish. I mean, it was a good move. 8-3. See this one again, just because it's a lot of goals. It's going to make this episode run on a little bit. Oh, stop yanning. They're already dead. Hat trick there. I start to wonder when we're going to get attention from teams outside the leagues. Wondering if any teams from New Zealand are going to start trying to poach some of our players. Because in terms of league rep, we're above the New Zealand leagues that exist in the game. Obviously not live or active leagues, but the teams themselves probably have higher reputation than we do. There we are. So let me see if I can get A's chance. They're insecure. Can only buy players who are under 21 years old. So actually I think what that means is they can keep them for longer. They can't replenish. It's only from their kind of youth. Or youth players they can bring in. So they've got them, they can keep them. I think. $18, $15. Yeah, very young squad. There was a 21 in there. So it's, yeah. So right, we'll stop there and we'll come back for the Puka Puka game. So we've gone on a few days and now we're back for the Pride Trophy finals. This is how it looked like in the group stage. We were in Group B and we finished with 15, so maximum points. We were Matara, a good 5 behind us. Puka Puka lost 1, managed to finish on top with 12 with the Feral Cats just behind them. And Puka Puka won this last year when we were kind of knocked out and couldn't take part in it, so it's against 2 previous winners. Puka Puka are currently 4th in the French Polynesian Championship. Promotion or the playoffs kind of within reach. It's unlikely though. It looks more like it's going to be Terras, Corals or Cats. The Typhoons are slightly out of that. Their team, in terms of any standouts, I don't know what it's been done. Yeah, I was sorting my value when I was looking at my team a little while ago. Red Cowick. I'm just thinking of a different Cowick. Tom Tobin can't play because he's on loan from us. Not recognising many of these kind of names. So looking at goals, their top goal scorer is Olivier Adam, 29 years old, Tahitian, 17 goals so far this season. So okay, started off at Bora Bora, bit of a journeyman. Brun, 29, been around as well. I recognise the name. I've seen him. I've looked at him and realised he's striking. I've seen him, but there's not a huge amount of talent there. The most creative player we're playing is ours. So let's see how we do against him. We should win this one. It should be nice and comfortable. No guarantees. Let's get Bolt on the bench. Tangara, give him a run if we need to. Team's still again a little bit tired after last match. It's only a few days have been since. Interesting tactic. I don't think they're gonna fight. We've just broken the record for goals scored. So the previous record for the amount of goals scored in the Premiership was 65, which we held, and now it's about 72. Got a few games left to kind of bump that up, so it is going to go up. Although it's been quite the start of this game. 5 shots to their none, but nothing worthy of a highlight. Tackle by Marquesas. Now we counter. Oh, good ball through, good run. That was good. I mean, that goalkeeping right at the end's a little dodgy. Could have made himself a bit bigger, or could have got it, or something. Could have been able to just do that. That was a nice pass by Pons. See this one. I like this one. Again, he's got a perfect run for that perfectly weighted pass. Just ghosts. The only way that could be better is if he megged him instead. Dallow in. Oh, Yanin took it down, and then it's not going to miss from there. Go watch that one. That one's a tap in technically. So yeah, less tension in this match potentially. I think once we've got the third goal, that's it. It's done. Which kind of makes it a good time to start moving. Oh, Gannon, hat-trick, 20-minute hat-trick. See this one, because that one looked good, both the pass and the finish. It's like a weird pass considering how close they were together, but yeah. I guess he... Oh, I don't think you'll be able to see it, but I just clicked one of the ad hordes and the webpage appeared. Because I've done that, thanks. Thanks game. So there we go. Do I want to call it for definite? I can't see them beating us. We're being that strong in the league against stronger teams that they're... Oh, Salaberry. How did I not recognise that name? Marvin Salaberry, one of their... We had a shot on target then. Yeah, one of their central defenders, 26 years old, used to play for us. So he had a couple of good seasons for us. And he wasn't quite up to scratch, so we had to move him on. It's like I was saying in the last match, it's nice to have these names you do recognise when you pay attention and actually see them. Oh, Dallowin looked like he fell over to me. There we go. Yeah, if Waite's not on the pitch, Yanin takes them, which is why he's closing in on 40 goals this season. So it'll be good to move to another club just to kind of stop this dominance. Like, I like winning games, that's the whole point of playing games like this, to get a team that's good enough to win. But because the league at the moment is so... still quite... even with 6 seasons in, it's still quite new. If you start to become a dominant force within that time period, it becomes very difficult. Especially when you're the real player and the other teams are AI, it becomes very difficult for them to overtake you. I think if we win the title this year, we're kind of well on our way to hitting that dominance, where we could just carry on playing as the Humpbacks, we could just rack up trophy after trophy, which would be kind of fun in its own way, but not necessarily the most thrilling viewing. And also for me as well, I'd like the challenge. Currently the OCL's not... I was going to say it's not that it's not a challenge, because it obviously is a challenge, otherwise we would have won it by now. But the group stage isn't a challenge. It's not like the Champions League, where pretty much every stage of it has the potential to sort of knock you out. McCormack with a wild shot then. It's one of those ones where actually, unless you end up with a team from New Zealand, you're probably going to get through the group stage. And as long as you can avoid a team from New Zealand or Tahiti, you're going to carry on. So it's not the same kind of challenge in the World Club. Oh, Pons. He's deserved a goal. That very first pass alone, he's deserved a goal. Yes, it's not the same kind of challenge that the Champions League is when it's in Europe. It's not as competitive. So we could end up just being this force, but not necessarily being challenged and not necessarily building up a huge amount of sort of changes to the quality of the league overall. Because what ideally we want to do is get to the point where the OCL does become a bit more of a challenge, because we've got lots of strong teams competing to enter. Like he was going in, that looked like it's going to be beautiful. Let's bring off Yanin for Tamangara. Bar for Gerard. Well, Dallowin. So yeah, what we want is to have lots of strong teams, and if there's only one strong team, if it's just going to be us, then it's not going to be that fun. The overall league quality is not going to improve. If you've just got one team doing well, it becomes a lot harder to pull up. It's a lot slower to kind of put the standard of the rest of the league. So if we get to a point where we can leave the humpbacks in a good kind of state, so, you know, financially safe, keep a clean sheet. Soft goal, long ball. Know how those work. Good job you got the second one there. So if we can leave them in a good state, maybe where we've got some Club World Championship money, or they've got the opportunity for it. They've got the rep boost from winning the title cups. We've got the players we've got for them locked in on reasonably decent contracts for a season or two, so the team doesn't just dissolve completely straight away. Then that might mean that they stay a force. Teams like Taha, Ace Chance remain reasonably forceful. And then teams like the Eels and Moria, another one. I think it's going to be a comeback. Adam again. We just switched off for the last 10 minutes. Because we were 5-0 up. Yeah, hopefully we start to build it so the league's just much more competitive. Well, the problem we've had is because no one team's retained the title. No one started to run away with, and because they're kind of qualifiers for the OCLs in the middle of the season, which opens it up a bit. It has also meant that I think what I'm trying to say, not enough coffee today. It's basically meant the teams that you thought might be kind of consistent qualifiers to always get in from one season to the next. So if you look at the past winners we've had, the Eels, Taha, Bora Bora, Moria, and then us. The Eels, Taha, even despite getting is it Taha as well? Yeah, it was Taha in the OCL. Despite getting that kind of Club World Championship money, they've not remained like in top position despite that kind of boost. But I think gradually we're going to see the league become more competitive, and part of the way we're going to do that is by moving from humpbacks onto this. But there we go, we've won the Mutiny Pride Trophy. So we've won it 3 times now. It's a reasonable amount of times the Mutiny Pride Trophy. We've now got so that's 2 competitions won, 2 non-important competitions won. I mean, I've got the Austral Islands and the Premiership to win. If we win the Inter-Island Cup against Taha, it'll be the 2nd time we've won it, or the 4th time they've won it. But that's probably in an episode or 2. So thanks very much for watching. I'll stop there, and we will come back. Where are we? On the screen. They'll probably come back for the Taha Cup final, and then a league game, unless we get the OCL stages drawn in between, which you probably will do actually. So thanks again.